Hello, everyone. I see a few people dropped in here. I did a little unannounced, went live here. I thought Friday night here, here in lockdown here at the Jersey Shore, kind of another boring day. So there was some drone news today. So I thought, I'd see if anybody wanted to chat a little bit, here. Nothing earth breaking. We did get confirmation today that the Alltel Evo 2 will now be released on April 20th, and today is the 17th. So that sounds like it's Monday, right? 18th and 19th. Yeah, it'll be Monday, a week before we get the Mavic Air 2 release announcement, debut, whatever the proper word is, for the Mavic Air 2, because on the 27th, we don't really know whether it's going to be that night when they're announced, if it's going to be immediately for sale or there'll be a waiting period. We don't know that. We haven't got confirmation out yet. So, but yeah. So anyhow, the Alltel Evo 2, first was shown at CES, and people kind of expected a February release, and then they had like a software issue, and it got pushed back, and of course the coronavirus in there too. So, and then there were strong rumors it was going to come out the end of March. So here we are. I'm going to say in the second. It is the second half of April, and we're still waiting for it. But at least we got a firm release date now. But what I don't know is on the 20th if that will be online at Alltel's website you can order for, or that'll just be Alltel Evo dealers. Maybe it'll be on the shelf at Best Buy. I don't know what by them saying release Monday, I don't know in what form it'll be released. So if anybody has any information on that, please, please let us know, how it will be released, and where you can get it. So, yeah, I want to thank, we got Hubson Choice in here. Hello, how are you tonight? We got Little Mountain Life in here with us. Whizbang99, Ken, how you doing tonight? How's everything out in Michigan? Got Bill the drone reviewer on here. So I know this is a little late at night here, and the East Coast people like Bill, I know it's almost bedtime, but I was just a little bored. I was watching, I know it's lockdown, but I was watching the new season of Harry Bosch on, I think Harry Bosch comes on Netflix, or I'm not sure if Netflix or Amazon, but we watched a couple episodes of that tonight. So kind of got me juiced up a little bit here. So, I got drone shots in here. Bill, probably dealers. Okay. Whizbang said, thanks for the update. 4 inches of snow today here in Michigan. Well, we didn't get any snow here at the Jersey Shore, but it definitely felt like winter today here. So spring is slow to arriving in, a lot of parts of the U.S. Even though we had a mild winter, now we have kind of unusually cold spring. So it's almost like the weather hasn't really changed much that we transitioned from winter to spring. So, okay, enough weather talk. So yeah, Bill says probably dealers. That's kind of not what we want to hear. A lot of this, I mean, I don't know why I say this, but a lot of us don't really want to buy off of kind of dealers. A lot of us want to order, from the mothership, the Alltel's own website, or a lot of us like to go to the Best Buy and pick things up or whatever. But I shouldn't say it's good for these local dealers. I mean, they're supporting kind of small business, so that's a good thing, I guess, going and buying from the dealers. And I guess you get some better service there. I personally, I don't think I've ever bought a drone from like a dealer like that, or a small dealer, but I guess it has its advantages. It could be like a good thing. So Bill says it didn't have the Evo 1 on the Alltel website for a long time. Okay, I didn't realize that, Bill. That's good information. Chad B, welcome in tonight. How are you tonight? Got another East Coast person here. Sorry for going late so live, but I've been busy down there watching Harry Bosch and everything. So I'm not even going to talk about the Alltel Evo details, because we've seen the details since January. 3 models. They're going to pro version one in sensors, probably the one most people want to get, and they got the whole 8K, 4K, thing going on there. Mike McReynolds, how you doing tonight? Good to see you in here, buddy. How's the weather out there in Indianapolis? Hope you're getting a little bit warmer weather than we are here at the Jersey Shore. But back to the the Evo for a second. You know what I was reading today, and again, I'm going to say from my sources, from some guy on the internet or whatever. So when I use the word sources, I use the term loosely. He was saying that we saw the specs for the supposed specs for the Mavic Air 2 camera, the 4K 60, and can take a 48 megapixel photo. Well, strangely enough, and it's got a half-inch sensor. Strangely enough, that's sort of the specs of the Alltel Evo 2, the base model. It has a 1.5-inch sensor. It's 4K 60, and it could take a 48 megapixel, picture file. So, are they using a similar camera? And if they are, does that mean that the Mavic Air 2 will also be capable of like 8K footage? We haven't heard that, rumor pop out amongst all the rumor mills. And, maybe it will be capable of doing 8 megapixels, but they won't actually, allow that as a feature at this time. I don't, again, total speculation, just, kind of interesting that it has very similar camera specs to the Alltel Evo 2 model that allows for the 8K video file. So just something to watch for. When things get released here. Let's see. We got Bill the Drone who says new pics of the Mavic Air 2 camera. He posted. It's like a real good close up. We got WN Outdoor Adventures in here with us. How you doing tonight, John Coopy? He says Mavic Air 2 is something that I'm actually interested in, not on a release day, but the futures, especially if it could do HDR. I'm not sure if we've heard whether it could do HDR or not. And I can't remember if the Alltel Evo 2 says it could do HDR, but I mean, you got to think with the specs we've seen on this camera that it probably could do HDR if they allow it in software. So good to hear you're excited about it, John. And I understand, not at release date. It got AZ Drone Dude in here. Let's see, Whizbang saying 4 inches of snow, 55 tomorrow. Weather bouncing all over the place. It does the same thing here at the Jersey Shore. Let's see here. Bill, thanks for the cheerleading us on here. I smashed the thumbs up button. Thank you, Mike. And John said he wants his next drone to do HDR. I kind of love the HDR feature on the Skydio 2 drone. It really does a good job. Like it kind of like it's sunset, or when you got kind of like the sky still kind of overexposed and the grounds and a lot of shadows are underexposed. It does a good job of balancing them out. So I agree. I think it's a good feature as long as you can turn it on and off. Johnson would be a major upgrade from the Mavic 1 for me. Yeah, I think it will be. We'll know that when we actually, see the reviews and get it in our hands. DJ Drezel, love listening to you guys. Can't wait for my Phoebe. Oh, yeah, everybody's, now waiting for that Phoebe X8 SE 2020. And I heard somebody say today that it will, how don't they say it'll ship on May 29th, it'll arrive on May 29th, but I've been hearing the date of the 29th. And John, you're right, that I was saying this the other night, that $799 price point will break the bank. I think that is, this maybe is the best, best value ever I've seen in a drone, to get all the stuff this drone promises will have for that price point. I mean, I think, I don't think there's anything ever, like this before. We got Jay Bird in here with us. Hello, Jay Bird. How are you tonight? And AZ Drone Dude helped me out by saying the Pro has HDR, but does the base model have HDR? Because I think, of course, this Mavic Air 2 will be much more comparable to the Alltel Evo base model than it will, the Pro model. So Bruce Purvis in here, previous Phantom photos. Here you go with the Mavic 2 Pro Resume or the Mavic Air 2. Yep, more decisions. That's for sure. Another interesting thing that's come up in the past couple days, maybe the past 24 hours, that they say that the Mavic Air 2 will use the Go Fly app rather than the Go 4 app as its way of controlling the drone on your smartphone, and that's really kind of shocking because the DJI Go Fly app, which is only for the Mavic Mini at this point, is a good, clean app, easy to use, but also very simplified, very dumbed down. It lacks a lot of the kind of the extras, the controls, ways of dialing in your settings on a drone. That a lot of people kind of want stuff back. Like even though they just added weight balance to it recently, but the thing is they hit it like deep down, about 3 menus down in settings, rather than put it down, like right in the camera settings, on the camera settings screen. So, rather than just basically using, one command to change the white balance, you have to dig down a couple menus and change it, which is very kind of unfriendly. So all I can say is, boy, they better really, we better get DJI Go Fly app version 2. If they release the Mavic Air 2 with the DJI Go Fly app, the way it stands nowadays, I mean, you're going to have a lot of unhappy people that don't have full command to unlock the features of this drone. In the video settings and the camera settings. I mean, and what about the whole I got to read this. I can never say it. ADSB. I mean, that's going to take a whole kind of, it's going to be a whole redesign of the app just to put that feature in there. So they really got me confused on this using the DJI Go Fly app for the Mavic Air 2. What do you people think about that, using that app? I got to check back. We got Chris Hope in here tonight. Hey, Chris, what do you think about this Mavic Air 2? Have you been following settings? Does this drone make sense for you? WNY Outdoor Adventures. Yeah, Go Fly app sucks. Yeah, well, you best you put that. You said that true, brother. Let's see here. Yeah, John Coopy, major home run for sure. Let's see here. Who else here? WNY Outdoors says he actually heard it was $9.99 in the U.S. Okay, I haven't heard that yet, but hope that rumor is wrong. I love that $7.99 price point, but we will see. We will see. So got more comments down here. We got Bill Thomas in here. Yeah, I want one. Who wants to buy his Air 1, his platypus? LL. No, Bill's not selling any of his drones. Times Truth said should or could be better for the MIDI. I think Bill the Drone Review says I think the Go Fly app is for the non ADSB version. Oh, well, that's a good point, Bill. I didn't think of that. And then whatever they use for ADSB, they're going to have to do a total rewrite of the app, whether they create an app just for that feature. It will be interesting. But Bill, even if that's only for the 80, if the Go Fly app's only for the standard one, are you still going to be happy with the Go Fly app on the Mavic Air 2, which should be a kind of a full featured camera drone? It should have all the settings. I mean, it should allow you to do many different things. Like I just can't believe they're going to go with that simple of an app. I mean, what in video mode, you can't even control your shutter speed in video mode in the Go Fly app. So how are they going to release this basically, almost like, real prosumer type of a drone with, this great camera and not even let you adjust the shutter? I mean, that's baffling. I mean, not baffling because I'm sure, again, my guess it'll be Go Fly app version 2, but or maybe that rumor is wrong, one or the other. So yeah, so that's a lot of my segments. Oh, Chris Hope says Mini for sale here. So sounds like Chris Hope's he maybe is going to upgrade from the Mini to the Air. I wonder if you can live stream on the new Mavic Air 2, Chris. I wonder if it's a solid live stream, because if I understand correctly, you cannot stream on the Mini, and basically that's because of the Go Fly app. So if they use the Go Fly app on the Mavic Air, you will also not be able to go live, which it would be a bummer. Again, unless I'm correct, it'll be like a Go Fly version 2 or a major upgrade to the app. Bill says, no, I am upgrading. I'm going to sell my Mavic Air Flyborn combo for an incredible deal. so it keeps flying. Well, that's good too. I mean, if there's a lot of people out there be happy to get that drone and and fly it almost every day rather than kind of be a shelf sitter, as I call some of the drones, and that's good. Bill, the drone review says in that case, they think so he'll beef up the app. Man, they better beef up that app, or they're going to have a lot of bad press right off the bat. So, Chris, you agree that yeah, it's going to be tough for you live streamers to upgrade to this Mavic Air 2 if it does not offer the live streaming. Hey, Bill Thomas, does the Mavic Air 1 offer live streaming? I've never owned the Mavic Air 1. So Chris says, well, pre-order as soon as it is able. Okay, buddy. I like that type of talk, Chris. Chris is hey, by the way, is this the real Chris Hope or the new Chris Hope? So Bill Thomas says B&H Photo. Yeah, they're always a good reliable source for carrying these drones. Chad B asking WNY if he's outdoors. Are you selling? Yeah, I guess there'll be a lot of Mavic Air 1s going on sale soon. And Bill says, Bill Drone Review says, I think the live stream works better with OcuSync. I can't really comment on that. Best I ever used to do was my Phantom 4 or my Mavic 1 with the OcuSync. I mean, with the what they had before OcuSync on the Phantom Light Bridge or whatever. But I never have any good luck with live streaming. I mean, Chris Hope's our live streaming expert on the panel here tonight. So Mothman 46 says the Mavic Air does live. Thanks for that information. So anyhow, what do you guys think? It sounds like people here are much more talking about this Mavic Air 2 more than they are the Evo. The Evo 2. Is anybody in here considering getting Evo 2, or are we all pretty much sold on that Mavic Air 2 at that $799 price point? I mean, I guess the Alltel Evo 2, it'll be a bigger drone, better battery life, range. Who knows the range? I hope they get that range issue solved, but I'm for no reason outside just saying it. I just got a gut feeling that the Mavic Air 2 will have better range than the Alltel Evo 2. But I mean, Chad B, Evo 2 too expensive. Great point. I mean, the Evo 2 will be twice the price as the Mavic Air 2, and I'm not sure it's going to be that much better of a drone, if better at all. So John Coopy, the Evo 2 just too far expensive for me. Mothman, I'll probably go with the Air 2. Love his Air. So yeah, it seems like everybody. Chris Hope says OcuSync is the ticket. And I believe Chris Hope, this will be your first OcuSync drone, right? You have a Phantom 4, which is Light Bridge, and you have the Mavic Mini, which is Wi-Fi. So yeah, Chris, you're gonna love your first OcuSync drone. So yeah, I'm happy for you. Well, I'm happy for you. I haven't even got it yet, but at least you made up your mind. That's a big step. So, Bill, the drone view, the Air 2 is going to be awesome. Jay Bird, DJI is proven. Let's see. How about a Mavic Pro 1? But we'll sell the Mini. Has refresh in 2 cases. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sell my Mini yet, but because we know, the Mavic Air 2 is going to be smaller than what we've seen from we'll say the Mavic, Pro series or whatever. But we don't know how much smaller. I wonder if it's going to be small enough that I kind of will use it all the time and not the Mini. I mean, if that would be the case, like I would just never take the Mini with me again because the Mavic Air 2 is that small and that much better. I guess I would consider selling my Mini at that point. But I mean, I won't sell it until I figure out that I don't need it anymore because the Air kind of takes a spot as far as being portable and useful. Because I mean, the the mini's just about you know, the best thing I've ever seen for $399 or whatever. As far as a drone, it's just, you know, incredible little drone, and the camera. I mean, like my friend Mark said, it punches way above his weight. I mean, that 2.730 looks better than some of my 4K cameras. I mean, it's just me, just my opinion. So Whizbang, it's hard to beat the DJI line. Never had a problem with the 4 I have. Whizbang, are you considering this Mavic Air 2? Do you have the Mavic Air 1? I know you have the Mavic Pro 2, but I don't know your other 3 DJI drones. I'm guessing you got a Phantom in there someplace. Probably, maybe you got the Mini. So WN Outdoors says, here's a problem with the Mini. Too late, only for no wind flights. You know, it's true. It's you know, again, it's not as versatile because as WNY said, you know, you can't take up in high winds, or if you do, you don't want to go too far with it. That's a good point, you know, very good point. Fly High Ireland says, Ron, hello, how are you doing over in Ireland? Caught you up in the middle of the night, huh? Jumping on this podcast. Can't spend that much. The Mini's at a good price. It certainly is, Chad B. So yeah, so just some random thoughts for a Friday night. Hope everybody's, you know, had a good week. You know, I hope some people still get to go to work depending on their jobs. I know, you know, a lot of people out of work, and you know, and you know, it's been rough staying at home, wondering about bills. So, you know, so I hope everybody had a decent week, and, you know, maybe have a relaxing weekend. I guess they're all relaxing weekends when you can't really do much but stay inside. And, you know, in New Jersey, we can still kind of go out and walk around locally, get some exercise. We're not supposed to go far. So, you know, I'm on a little tiny island, so it's hard to go far anyways. But, you know, again, I just keep busy with a lot of projects. I got a video coming up tomorrow where I took the Xeno 2 out, you know, this week, just down in my local spot in the beach. And the Xeno 2 actually has panoramic photo mode in it. I mean, the Xeno 1 had a panoramic video mode where it just kind of circled around and took video, but this actually has a panoramic photo mode, very similar to what the DJI Go, I mean, the DJI drones have in the Go 4 app, with 4 different type of panoramic. So I took a 180 panoramic and a horizon panoramic, and unlike the DJI, you know, Go 4 app, it doesn't stitch the photos together for you and create like an image you could pop out. You have to actually take, you know, the photos into something like Lightroom and stitch them together on your own. But I mean, the photos, I mean, I thought they really look good. I mean, I didn't expect them to be the quality they are. I mean, they're on par with, you know, I'll say my Mavic 2 Pro, but some of my, you know, my Phantom 4 and my Mavic Pro 1, which I don't have anymore, but kind of on that level, really. I mean, they look that good. I mean, I'll have the photos in the video. It's a short video, but I just kind of show how, you know, I did the process, and, you know, and the stitch result and whatever. But it'll be up tomorrow morning sometime. So, you know, stop by, check it out. So Bill's working from home. Let's see here. Almost WN Outdoors. He said, don't use it. Skydio, Zoom Air, must use. Kim Star says he has a Xeno 2. Yeah, good little drone. Again, I guess I'm gonna get around to one day to kind of doing my full review of it. I mean, I'm still kind of working through everything, just trying to get an idea of how good it is. Of course, even when I think about, you know, kind of, you know, summarizing my review, then a firmware update comes and something gets better. So, you know, it's kind of always a moving target. Let's see here. Dehan 219. I have an old Air and a Mavic 2. The Air has less restrictions versus my my Zoo. I can fly an empty NFL stadium without restrictions with the Air. Oh, I didn't know that. Good to know that it doesn't require you know, any flight permission. So that's good to know. I mean, I'm sure this new one, you know, the new Mavic Air 2 will be, you know, just like all the other drones. You'll have to, it'll be flight restrictions, and you'll have to get permission to fly in, you know, things that are in Class G around airports and so on, which, you know, I guess to the people that don't like those restrictions, the Alltel Evo 2 would offer the feature that, you know, it can fly anywhere without seeking any permissions or so that's important to some people, not necessarily important to me. I kind of live in kind of a rural environment and don't even really visit big urban areas where that's an issue. So, but I understand why it is important to a lot of people. So, thank you, Jay Bird. Love the chat. Yeah, I just felt like talking about, I saw the Evo come out, and I really kind of stuck in my mind about using this DJI Go Fly app instead of the Go 4 app for the Mavic Air 2. That really kind of caught me off guard. And even though I'm all on board for this, getting this Mavic Air 2, it'll kind of take a step back for me if it operates on the Go Fly app, well, basically unchanged from what it is on the Mini. I mean, that'll really kind of damper my excitement a little bit. So, but we'll have to see. I mean, everything kind of we know about the Mavic Air 2 is a lot of speculation. A lot of it garnered off these FCC filings in the US, and then they had a similar type of filing in Brazil where they got a lot of information and pictures from. So, that stuff's all documented, but a lot of it, is open to interpretation. So, again, we kind of don't know, anything for sure, really. Everything is speculation at this point. So take everything with a grain of salt that I'm saying and anything else you hear out there. But, exciting times, for sure. I mean, Alltel Evo 2 one Monday, Mavic Air 2 the next Monday. We discussed the FEMI 2020. I heard a date of May 29th today. So, I mean, that sounds like it's far off, but for drones coming from China, that's actually a very reasonable date in my mind, I would think. And that was great this week that a lot of people like Bill released that coupon that you can get the FEMI X8 SE 2020 for the $299 price if you kind of enter this contest where 1,000 people win. And I know it's a contest, but most contests like one person wins, or maybe there's a second and third prize, but 1,000 people win. That's like a big deal. So that means like if 2,000 people order this FEMI, you got a 50-50 chance of winning if you enter this contest. I mean, I've kind of never heard those odds before, man. You don't get those odds driving down the street to Atlantic City here or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I really like that odds. I have no idea how many of these FEMI 2020s are going to sell, but I mean, it's not going to be like 100,000 or whatever. Your odds are going to be real good. So I'm really kind of excited about this contest. Chris, hope you're patiently waiting for the Mavic Air 2. And Jay Bird says, I hope to get mine at Best Buy when it's pre-order is available. That's a good idea. I remember when the Mavic Mini came out, Bill, the drone reviewer, was smarter than most of us and got his at Best Buy like the very first day. So, I don't know what the best plan on attack is to get these Mavic Air 2 as quick as possible. But when somebody figures it out, just let me know. Coast to Coast Drone says that's going to be my rant on Wednesday. Will there be a spin up this year? Well, it's a good question. I mean, we didn't know anything definite on a spin up. I mean, Sean Oz had told us a possibility that he was trying to get in Kelly's ear about holding out in Colorado, where he lives in a ski resort town. But, with coronavirus, I know I'm going to be leery about flying in a plane for a long time because, planes and like cruise ships are places, where these viruses like live and attack more frequently than any place else. And if this spins any place on the west of the Mississippi, it's going to kind of be too far for me to drive to it. So, excuse me, folks. That wasn't a corona cough. That was a wet cough from my post-nasal drip. So don't worry. Yeah, to answer Bill's question, if there is a spin up this year, I probably won't be attending just because, I don't want to turn this into a coronavirus thing. But I mean, I really won't feel safe about traveling until they get a a vaccine for the coronavirus, which probably won't which probably won't even happen anytime this year. You know, a certified vaccine that you know is readily available. So I'm probably going to put all my travel plans on hold for 2020 and look more towards 2021. But whatever I say now could change in the next 5 or 6 months. So we will see. Oh, Bill said, I mean, the female otter is going to be my rant. Okay, well that's good. I want to hear that rant. That should be very interesting. Bill is going to have both DJI and Best Buy open on my PC. Yeah, it's smart playing it both ways there, Bill. It's probably good. W and Outdoor Adventures. It's okay, Ron. I put my mask on. LO. Yeah. I mean, I don't want. I'm trying not to make fun of the virus whatsoever, but I'm also don't want to, you know, be so lack of humor here over it. You know, we have to get our humor where we can here, since we're all kind of stuck in our homes and we don't get a lot of interaction to kind of tell jokes and share humor with in person anymore. I mean, again, I'm not complaining. I mean, you know, whatever it takes to get this virus under control, I'm willing to do, you know. So let's see here. Chris Hope says, night, Ron, everyone. Yeah, good night, Chris. You know, I know you probably have to get up early. I don't know if you fly on Saturday mornings, but let's see, in Texas is probably, what is it, 9 o'clock in Texas? I never get my time straight, but anyhow, good night, Chris. Thanks for joining in. I hope this is the real Chris Hope. John says, wonder if any new developed for the goggles is still underway. Is that the old DJI goggles, the ones that used to fly the Mavic and stuff with? I mean, I mean, they've done so little with those goggles. I'm kind of thinking that you know, that's something they may not even keep developing. I mean, I don't even hear anybody buying anymore or whatever. ARKG says the base model has HDR. Okay, on the Evo 2. Thanks for that information. Chat's going fast here. Coast B&H, I'm telling you, you'll have in your hands in 24 hours after release. Well, I'm gonna keep that tab open in the browser too. Thank you, Bill. Bill, they may start installing UVC lights in public places. Oh, is that the lights that you know you shine over stuff to kill viruses? It's a good thought. W12 Martin, hello there. I can confirm that the Alltel Evo 2 Pro has 4K HDR. To me, the main advantage of the Evo 2 is the possibility to fly up to 800 meters altitude, no geofencing. That's interesting. Let's see here. And also another comment from Martin, and the fact it can handle up to 75-mile-per-hour winds make it very capable of flying through the mountains. I just wish the strength of the signal transmission could be improved. Well, I mean, it's a good point, W12 Martin. I think, of course, when the reviews come out, I think that's one of the first things the reviewers are focused on is how far it flies in signal transmission. And if it's not good, I mean, it's going to take a lot of heat no matter how good the camera is. And it's just the way things go. I mean, you know, I'm kind of a camera guy, but I know, you know, when you look at most drone reviews, the first two things they talk about is range and battery life. So, and which the Evo should, you know, score high on that battery life. Jay Bird, any goggles for the Xeno 2, Ron? You know, I have, you know, I think the Xeno X Hudson 1 app had the feature where you could, you know, split the screen and you could put your phone inside of what do they call them, like the goggles that you use to watch stuff on TV. Sorry, it's just called for talking too much. The VR goggles or whatever, you could fly like that. You know, I never checked to see if the X Hudson app 2 also had that feature where you could split the screen and put your phone inside the VR goggles. But, you know, that's something I'm going to look into, Jay Bird. I actually did. I think I did try it one time with the Xeno 1, flying it with the goggles. I mean, with the VR goggles, whatever. And it was, you know, an okay experience. Nothing that wasn't that good that I want to do it again. So Michael Blade, hey guys, how you doing, Michael? Bill Drone View, yes. I don't know what you yes to, but DJI was smart not to launch the Mavic 3 this year. Alltel will make a dent because of the the COVID-19. Will not make a dent. Actually, Dehan 219. There's rumors from like Hey Kessler that we will see a Mavic 3 this year. Of course, we better handle one rumor drone at a time. But I did hear that it would come out this summer, but we will see. Maury's in here. Hello, Maury. How are you tonight? Hi, Ron. Nice to see you as always. Forget the air. I'm waiting for the Zoom to get here. Well, yeah, you can't go wrong with that Zoom. And one of the speculations for the Mavic 3 that it'll have a 1-inch sensor and a Zoom combined in the same same camera, which that would be the killer feature. Let's see here. Well, I think I'm kind of running out of things to say. Main point was just to talk about the Alltel Evo 2, which again I can see that's not the level of excitement that there is for the Mavic Air 2 coming out, and the whole kind of conundrum that that the Mavic Air 2 may run on the DJI Go Fly app rather than the DJI Go 4 app, and in its current state, the DJI Go app is greatly hampered for the photographers and videographers among us who want a lot of manual control over their drone's cameras. So yes, initially that's a disappointment unless there's news we don't know about. Stephen Ewing, thanks for joining us tonight. Hey Ron, it's 408 here in Ireland. Just caught you on, hoping you're keeping well. Yeah, I just went impromptu. I just wanted to talk a little bit tonight, but sorry to wake you up there over in Ireland. I hope you weren't in the middle of a sound sleep. I'm doing well, still feeling good, locked down here at the Jersey Shore. I actually did venture. Usually I always tell people most times I don't venture more than a mile away from my house, but today we actually went over Summers Point to the Acme and picked up some groceries. So I probably actually went maybe like 5 miles away today, or maybe a little less, to the grocery store. So wore a mask and gloves and everything like that. So and it wasn't too crowded. So, but I hope you're doing well over in Ireland. I mean, I try to keep up with the news. I don't think Ireland's one of the countries that I see real high in the corona stats. So I'm happy that they have kept the corona under control in your country. That it basically doesn't make the news because it doesn't rank up with the countries that have major outbreaks. So I mean, that's good to hear. I'm going to just say C. Jones because I don't want to mispronounce your first name, but thanks for dropping in. How are you doing tonight? John Coopy. Rumor is the FFA is going to cause DJI to stop all consumer drone production in favor of farm drones. Interesting. And what if, like, I mean, if they did stop them from selling them in the U.S. directly, does that mean somebody like Banggood or Gearbest couldn't ship them over here anyways? I mean, it's very very confusing. I mean, why doesn't the FFA stop Zeno or Hubson or Femi from sending drones over here? So Morris says, hey, everyone, I have a friend who is using his Mavic 2 Pro to scout grocery stores in his neighborhood to check out the lineups before he heads out to wait. Pretty good idea. Oh, yeah, that is good, Maury. Yeah, he should, put those, then put them out on the internet or something like that, or post them on Facebook. That is a good idea. Or maybe he can even check it. Maybe you can fly him in the store and check who has toilet paper in stock. In the Acme today, they had toilet paper, but they only had Charmin, and it was like I don't know, twice the price that it normally is. So they had some unhappy shoppers there. Oh, there's Marcus stopped in. How you doing tonight? Out in Idaho. Glad to see you in here. I was just kind of sharing with everybody the fact about the Alltel Evo 2 will be out on the 20th, and that the rumors that the Mavic Air 2 will use the DJI Go Fly app instead of the better Go 4 app. So hold on, folks, just a second here. Maybe I can send a little link out here. Hold on here, everybody. Just bear with me for just a second. I'm trying to do something. I'm not the world's greatest multitasker or whatever, especially at my advanced age. Marcus, check your Facebook Messenger. So Chad B, good night. Yeah, thank you for dropping in, Chad. Just kind of just a little informal thing here. Nothing, nothing serious, but thanks for stopping by and be safe down there and have a good weekend. So we have a visitor, folks. We have a visitor from the great state of Idaho.
How we doing?
Well, we're doing good, Marcus. Welcome to the Alltel Evo 2 release show.
Awesome, very good. Yeah, I was Ron. I got your message earlier, but my whole family, my brothers and sisters, my dad, everybody, we all got on one big Zoom call. So that's the way you deal with COVID-19. We had all of us together on a big Zoom call.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
And you have your spin-up shirt on tonight.
I do. I just happen to be wearing my spin-up shirt. Yep.
Well, guess what? Bill Thomas asked a question earlier in the chat whether there was going to be a spin-up this year.
I can't imagine there would be. I can tell you that unless there is a vaccine or a cure for COVID-19, I wouldn't go. How about you, Ron?
Well, guess what? You don't have to ask me. I said all this before you got in the air.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I'm probably not getting on an airplane this year unless something really changes in the next few months.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, I'm going to stay online. I'm going to stop my camera because my wife just brought me up dinner, and I don't want you guys to have to watch me eat.
Oh well, we sorry we caught you in the middle of dinner.
No, that's okay. I'll be happy to be on. I'll just mute my camera.
This is kind of informal, little talk here. I thought to me the Alltel Evo 2 Monday, that's great, but I thought the big news was the rumors today that the Mavic Air 2 will only fly with the DJI Go Fly app, or what's it called? Fly app, the one that the Mini uses.
The Fly app, yeah.
And that's going to be a major downer for me because that's not a very full featured app for what I'm going to say, for people that like to do a lot of manual photography and videography, if you kind of get my drift.
Yep. Hey, so
hey Bill, it's sent. Go ahead, Marcus. Let me see how Curtis Dart. How you doing, Curtis? But Marcus, I cut you off. You were going to tell us about your thoughts on the DJI Go Fly app. Am I saying, is it called Go Fly?
It's just called the Fly app.
Oh, Fly app for the Mavic Air 2. Would you be kind of disappointed if that is the truth?
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what it is, because it's surely they're going to have to modify it somewhat for this drone, right? Because it's going to have a bunch of advanced functions. So, hey, I'm saying I love the Fly app on the Mini, but as you said, where are they going to put those features on this new drone? So we'll just have to see how they do it.
Maybe we won't have to see. We got Bill the drone reviewer for us, and he probably has that. He probably has the Air 2 and the Fly app or whatever. He's probably been testing it now.
Yeah, don't look back there. Don't look.
He's probably under NDA, or as my buddy Mike said the other night, he called it a DNA. He was under DNA.
They call it, and I don't know why they call it embargo. I don't know why they call it that. They call it embargo for some reason.
Well, what are your thoughts if the Mavic Air 2 would come out and would only run on the DJI Fly app, which lacks many camera and video features, including a manual shutter that would probably make a lot of people that are buying a drone for photography very unhappy and disappointed. And I'll make it a two-part question. Sure. Do you think we could see a DJI Fly app version 2?
Well, here's what I think, okay? And like I said earlier, I think for the non-ADS-B version, they're going to have the Fly app. And for the ADSB version, they may even advance to like a Go 5 app or something like that, because there's so much that needs to be written in there. And I don't think that the Fly app is robust enough to handle any of that. And I think it's meant to be, the more I think about it, that Fly app is more meant to be just for the Mini, because it's so simple, it's so straightforward. It's out of the box. You can fly up in the air. I mean, it makes things so easy. So I don't think it's going to be used on the Air 2 in all reality, unless it's just for the non-ADSB model. But I think they're going to rewrite the Go 4 app, or it'll be called Go 5, or it might even have its own app because of ADSB. That's why.
Yeah, I speculated they're going to need an entire new app for the ADSB feature.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, maybe a Go Fly app, or maybe they'll come up with a new name instead of Fly app. Maybe they'll call it the Watch Out app. I don't know, Be Alert Sky app. But come up maybe with a new catchy name. But yeah, I think you're right. I think the DJI, the Mavic Air 2 should have maybe its own app, like not to Go forward, not to flat. Maybe it should have an app that's in between the two. Maybe it's not as bare bones as the Fly app, but it's also not as full featured, and kind of, when full feature also means a lot of digging through menus. So maybe kind of a compromise of the two.
Yeah, it could be, Ron.
That's a good idea, Bill.
Yeah, that sounds like a good point, especially because you think what may happen here is you may get a lot of people that own the Mini also look at buying the Mavic Air 2, and it's an upgrade, and they would have something that they're basically familiar with a Go Fly kind of app, but maybe a beefed up Go Fly app. Okay, because if they do something like a Go Fly app, it's going to be beefed up. Okay, it's going to be more robust than the regular one, but it's going to fit somewhere between the Go 4 app and the Go Fly app. Okay, it would be something that would be in between.
Our friend Blue Skyver agrees with. He said the DJI Fly app 2.0.
Yeah, I think they would do something like that, because the simplicity of the Mavic Mini, okay, it lends itself to the way the app is right now, and I don't think they're going to mess around with that, because it's great for that specific drone. And when they go up to the Mavic Air 2, they're gonna need something a little bit more robust. They may not need something as in depth as the Go 4 app. So I think they're gonna have, Blue Skyver put it well, DJI Fly App 2.0. Have a different version of it, like X Upson 2 for the Xeno 2.
So I'm telling you, I believe that there won't be a non-ADSB version. DJI committed to everything over 249 grams having ADSB. I think both of them are going to be ADSB. Whatever the two versions are, it's something other than that ADSB difference.
Well, and this lends itself to the question. That's a good point, Marcus. This lends itself to the question that, the enterprise version, okay, is it going to be like the enterprise version on the Mavic 2 series, where it's going to have, say, like the loudspeaker and the strobe and the searchlight as options available? I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing that out there, because if that's the case, then this is going to be an even more affordable option for your first responders, for like volunteer fire departments and search and rescue and that type of thing. It's going to be much more affordable. I mean, the enterprise series, you're starting to look getting closer to $2,000 with all that kind of stuff. So, if you could kind of cut that in half and still get the capabilities of that. I mean, that loudspeaker, for example, they're using those now to help patrol the beaches in some states. I think they were using it at some beaches here in Florida, warning people, it's like, there's COVID-19 lockdown is in effect, you're not allowed on the beach, kind of a thing. Please disperse. In fact, I know Hawaii, they were using it over there too. So, this could be something that's going to be really valuable.
Right, definitely. I don't know if Bill, you may have heard me say this, Marcus. I don't think you were in the air yet. Today I was just looking over something. The camera specs of the Alltel Evo 2, the base model, and we got another visitor with us. Hello, John Coopy.
Hey, Coopy.
Tonight.
What's going on, guys?
Good to see you in here. I was just saying, I was telling them, you probably heard me say this earlier. I was looking at the specs today of the Alltel Evo 2, the base model. The camera's got a 1.5-inch sensor, 12 megapixels. It takes a 48 megapixel, I would say JPEG, but just picture out. It could be a DNG. And then I was looking at the speculated features of the Mavic Air 2, and it has the same thing: a 1.5-inch sensor, 12 megapixels, can do a 4K 60, can do a 48 megapixel file. And I'm thinking, wow, I wonder if this is like almost the same camera. And since it has all the other specs of the Evo's camera, can it possibly also do 8K?
I mean, I guess anything's possible, right?
Bill, did you notice that the specs were almost the same as the Mavic Air 2 and Alltel Evo?
Yeah, I did see that. I did see that. But one thing that really kind of caught my attention, and I sent you that picture, is a close-up of the front of the Air 2. And you could almost read what it says on the lens. You couldn't because the gimbal cover kind of clouded it out a little bit. But I really wanted to get in there and see what it said on there, because it would be like incredible information to be able to find that out right now, because you'd be able to find out how big that is. If it's a 1/2/3, you don't know, but it could tell you some great information if that's the case. I mean that's why I think with this camera, that's why I think you're going to have a lot of people who were looking to get the Evo 2 just say, you know what, I can spend hundreds of dollars less and get almost the same exact camera in the Mavic Air 2. Why not?
I mean, a good point. We have John just doing this now. John basically hasn't bought a camera drone since the Mavic 1. So
That's
now,
right.
but now this thing had somebody who's almost switched over to mostly FPV drones. This has drawn his interest back.
Yes.
I mean, and I failed to mention you have the Xeno 1, which is a camera drone, but you got an incredible price on that, but this may draw you back into upgrading your camera drone, because you probably agree with us. I can't think of another value like this, all the features you get at that price point. And I want you to talk instead of me talk, John. You go ahead and tell us what has got your attention so much.
No, you basically took what I was going to say more or less right out of my mouth. I mean, it looks to me like if the specs are what they say it's going to be, and the price is going to be $799, that's an incredible value. See, I'm the kind of guy who I feel like for what I do with the camera drones, taking them out every now and then. I'm not flying them all the time, but I just like to take nice pictures and video. I don't want to spend $1,300 on a camera drone. And not to mention, a lot of people don't realize that's just what you spend baseline for it. It doesn't count any extra batteries you're going to buy and everything else. I mean, it ends up being a huge expensive deal, right? So for me, that's like a $799 price point. I would probably wait a little bit, maybe get it on a sale. I could see it going on sale for like, $699, something like that, where they do a 10% special or whatever. That would be a really sweet spot. And to have a drone that'll fly for 34 minutes, do 4K at 60, give me some HDR. I mean,
you don't have to buy a ton of batteries. You make one battery may do you.
One battery may do you just fine. I mean, it's the first aerial photography drone I've really been I guess a little excited about in a long time. Most of the other ones I really didn't care about. Even the SkyDi, I couldn't get excited about that thing. I just couldn't.
Right. We got Bill and Marcus. I want to, if they want, either one of them could confirm, and I use the word confirm loosely because we're speculating here totally. Are they speculating that the Mavic Air 2 will have HDR or not? Or are they just not saying?
They're not saying. I haven't seen anything on that. But I think one of the things that we haven't really kind of brought up, and I put out a video on it today, it was confirmed through the Brazilian leak that it's going to have OcuSync 2.0. I mean, it was in Portuguese, but you saw the word OcuSync 2.0. I mean, it's just, and my video's flying like crazy tonight, and I could see why. I mean, that's been the number one thing that people have said in comments and postings on my forum or on my Facebook page about the Mavic Air 2. It has to have OcuSync 2.0. And that was one of those, I was like 99.9% sure they're going to have it. Because, I can tell you, I had the Mavic Air for 2 weeks. I was loaned it to test, And I never had any issues in an urban environment with Wi-Fi, but I know a lot of people have, and that's been a real, probably even more of a pain point than it's sounding like a hornet's nest. Okay, because that was, Bill Thomas will tell you that. I mean, it's like a hive of hornets that you've kind of shaken the nest up. But yeah, the number one thing that OcuSync 2.0, and if that's the case, and this is huge, okay, if that's the case, you can just about bet that it's going to be eventually be compatible with a smart controller. And I tell you what, DJI Smart, okay, now they missed the boat with a Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, okay, because it could, I did the beta testing for it, and in fact, I got news for you guys. I've never taken a beta software off of my smart controller, so I can still fly the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 on that. But I'll tell you what, okay, here's the thing. They do that, I can tell you right now, it's going to fly off the shelves. And the smart controller, it's going to fly off the shelves too, because it's just so freaking easy to get that thing up in the air.
Bill, I heard somebody was concerned. They said that the whole smart controller thing. They said, well, the DJI flap that doesn't run on the smart controller, and if this flies, with that app, you couldn't use smart control. But I was thinking, well, the only reason it doesn't run on the smart controller is because it's only for the maintenance point, and it's, since it's a less robust app than the Go 4 app. I mean, it should easily work on the smart controller once they program it, right, Bill?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's going to be a piece of cake. And see, and it was pointed out in our friend David from Kluge Tech Time, the DJI Go 4 app, updating it on the smart controller, that's about, I would say, if there's an Achilles heel on the smart controller, it's that. There's a process to do it. It can be done, but it's a real pain in the butt to do it. I mean, that, to me, that's been about the only, I think, real negative for me has been, and it is a process, and you got to follow it, and it'll work, but it takes some time, and you got to, he did a great video on it, by the way. If anybody's looking on how to update the Go 4 app on a smart controller, look at Kluge Tech Time, David. He put out a great video on it. I highly recommend it. It's kind of like John's video when he did the one on, doing the firmware update on the original Xeno. I mean, that's like your video, John, was a Bible on that. I mean, it was just, it was just the way to go. And it's the same thing for that. So if anybody's looking for that, it's out on Kluge Tech Time, and I highly recommend it.
Wow, I really appreciate that video. You thought it was so good that you consider it the Bible of the Xeno update.
Oh yeah, John,
that was quite a process. I mean,
have you gone back and looked at that, John? How many views do you have on that? Have you checked it recently?
I don't know. I think I got like 15K or something on it. I know there's been a lot of views toward that one.
You should, John, because you made it. You explained it. It was crystal clear. It was straightforward. It was not any garbage. I mean, it just was straight to the point. And see, that's the kind of videos people gravitate towards, or things like that. And same with David's. David did a great video on that, so that's something I highly recommend.
All right, I know this is the Alltel Evo and the Mavic Air 2 show, but we're talking rumors, and so I want to bring this up. I want to know from either of you guys, what do you think? So the DJI HD FPV goggles, they've been out for coming July. It's going to be about a year. Mm-hmm. As someone who's really thinking of picking up a pair of those, I'm kind of in a conundrum here. I was thinking that because of the virus and because of all this other stuff, that there'd be no way DJI would be releasing much this year. I guess obviously I was wrong, because here we are, we're on the cusp of the Mavic Air 2. Now I'm wondering, what are the chances that a V2 of the goggle could be coming up? I'm wondering if there's going to be any sources for leaks for that.
Well, John, it's funny you bring that up. I just saw in the last 24 hours. I don't know where I read it, but I saw somebody talking about the goggles getting updated. So that's a real rumor. That's a conundrum. It's a real rumor, but it is buzz about new goggles coming out. For the FPV, so that is out there. Bill, have you heard anything?
Yeah, I wanted to know if he's heard anything about that.
It's been real silent about that, and I was just kind of wondering, because I knew their anniversary was coming up, because I remember reporting it last year when it came out live, and that would be a great thing as far as that's concerned. I think probably I would say, and I just thought so we'll talk to my resident DJI source, Lauren, and see if he has any info on it. Because he would be the one that would be in the know. I don't know if you know Lauren Donauer. He's on the show with us. He works at a DJI store up in Alberta, Canada. So
okay,
yeah. So he's been kind of our go-to guy, and he wasn't able to join us this week because he's under embargo. He's NDA, so he's like he can't talk right now. So we're gonna have him on
after the air comes out.
Yeah, we're gonna have him on the Tuesday after the air comes out, so we can talk to him and kind of get some more info on him on the air. But I know one of the other things that I saw on the air, which I really liked, was they're not screw-in props; they're push-in props, kind of like the Mavic 2 series and Phantom 4 and everything. That's nice. What
kind of props did the Air 1 have?
It had push-in.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's a little thing, but I mean, I think it's pretty decent. And looking at the camera on there, okay, it reminds me a lot of the Mavic 2 Pro's camera, the way it looks, okay, the front end and how it's it's shaped and everything. And I wish that gimbal cover was off. I mean, I'm just still kicking myself. I may try to blow it up tomorrow and see if I can try to see something on it. But it's going to be, if that camera, if what we think is true about those specs, Ron, it's going to be as hot as the Mavic Mini, okay? Because it will fit right between the Mini and the Mavic 2 series, okay? And, try as you may, people are going to be saying, you know what? Unless you need the obstacle avoidance and all that stuff, you got it here in the Mavic Air 2. Plus, you're going to have ADS-B on it. Why not? Yeah,
I mean, I don't, think I need, absolutely need the 360 obstacle avoidance on, every drone I fly, whatever. I mean, it's nice to have it on that Mavic 2 Pro, but I mean, I've never really taken advantage of it. The only drone I ever put, to the test like that is a Skydio, whatever, So yeah. To me, this is having okay. We do know, we've seen the pictures. We see it has the front sensors, and we've seen it has the sensors on the back. I'm talking about the Mavic Air 2 now, and of course it has the bottom sensor. So we know those sensors are for sure. Now I've seen the legs unfold. I don't see any side sensors. Is that? Can you one of you two?
Yeah, that's correct. There are no side sensors on it, so it's going to have the back sensors, which I think is great. Because I know that was one of the pain points on the original on the Autel Evo 1. It had no rear sensors on it, and there were so many people that were backing up and they hit something with it. I mean, because you don't have that view and you don't know, and then next thing you know, your drone's either in the lake or hit the tree and is on the ground from something like that. But they're going to have what they continued on the original Mavic Air with and I'm sorry, I forget the name of the system, but it's that avoidance system where
APAS.
It's going to have APAS on it. So, and I imagine that's going to be an enhanced and a beefed up version of APAS on it, which is fantastic. Because what I did with the Mavic Air when I had it was I set up 2 of my garbage cans, okay, and it was so cool. It went to the side on one, and then it kind of like leapfrogged over the other one. I mean, it was just automatically. I kept the stick going forward. I didn't touch the other stick at all. It leapfrog. It kind of did one of these, and then it leapfrogged the other one and went right over.
I took my Mavic 2 through a bunch of trees and around a telephone pole and a light pole and everything else, and man, it found the hole and went right through them because it has sensors.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hey, I want to ask John a question we never got around to discussing on the FPV show on Wednesday night on Rotor Talk Live, Coast to Coast Drones. If you want to go back and watch that episode, I never know the episode's numbers, but anybody that's curious about getting into FPV, or even if you're an advanced user, go watch. John did a great job with that show. But the question I got for John is put him in a hot seat tonight. Do you think, with DJI's, I mean, apparently, they've had great success with that FPV kit they put out. I know Ethan Mitchell loves it, and other people I see swear by, because if I'm correct, it's a digital system rather than analog, and it's kind of the first kind of all-in-one digital system that's available. And I may be overstating this, but here's my question: do you think in the near future that DJI, and this system they have now is for builders, people that build their drones. But do you think they'll ever release an FPV drone with all this hardware in it, like built? Like it's just, what do you call it when it's all built? You just get it and fly.
A pre-built, a bind and fly, or rather just a whole kit with a drone made by them.
Do you think there'll ever be a DJI branded FPV drone where all you gotta do is buy it and bind it and fly? Well, if it comes with their controller, you don't even have to bind it; it's already bound.
Ron, if that's a really great question, it's really 50-50 because there already are bind and flies out there. You can buy them. You can buy bind and flies from Armatan, who's a very well-known frame builder in the FPV community. People buy Armatan frames because you get a lifetime warranty on them, and they do very solid builds. So you've got Armatan building stuff. You've got Jep RC building stuff. And I know Stephen Ewing was saying that he doesn't think the goggles were a great hit in the FPV community. I'm going to have to disagree. I feel like it had a rocky start in the FPV community, but a lot of people have been turned on to the whole digital system, and DJI has shown that they're treating this product a little differently to how they do some of the other products. And what I mean by that is CADX, a completely third-party company, was allowed to create a piece of hardware that works with that system. That was really unprecedented. People were very surprised to see a company like CADX come out with their Vista video transmitter. That's another company making hardware for a DJI product, and DJI fully giving it the thumbs up. That was a huge shocker. And then the other thing is DJI has aggressively been updating the goggles. In fact, they just put out an update I saw like 4 or 5 days ago. They've been listening to what people want from the very beginning, and they've been making changes and adding things. So they've really treated this a little differently compared to some of their other products. So I don't know if it really was such a flop. My question is, are they gonna make a new goggle when it's already selling? I think it's already selling pretty well, and none of the other FPV vendors have really stepped up to the plate with a viable competition. I mean, Fat Shark came out with Bite Frost. I think that really kind of fell flat, and I haven't really seen anything else. So in a way, they're kind of the king in the digital sector because they're the only ones offering a viable option, to my understanding anyway. So what do you guys think? I'll stop talking now.
Hey, let me throw an interesting Stephen Ewing comment here. He says he's heard the sensors on the Mavic Air 2 have a wider field of view on the front and the back, making the side sensors less necessary. That's very interesting, Stephen.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that, but I thought about that they could have, that could be another one of those DJI wow technologies that they don't need side sensors because they have a bigger field of vision on the front and rear. That would sure be fascinating if that's the case.
Marcus, there's your thing that the DJI threw in that you weren't asking for.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to John's thing. I have I don't know, but I mean, I know for me, if I really thought about getting an FPV and I could order it from DJI, if I could get the goggle, and I don't want to know about putting all the VTXs and cameras in myself. If I could just order a kit from them, I pull it out of the box. I got the controller. It's already bound to the drone. I don't have to bind it. I got goggles that are, whatever bound, that all I have to do is just get it out, charge batteries, put the goggles on, and throw it in baby mode or whatever, where I don't have to fly. What do you call that when you have to handle all the axes yourself?
Acro.
Yeah,
Acro.
Acro.
I don't have to fly Acro. I can fill some baby mode to get going, and I don't have to know anything about all the stuff John talked about in the show Wednesday. I just get out, start up, and fly whatever. I don't know. Would that have an impact? Would that would that have any impact at all? Would that be like the hardcore FPV guys? No, I want to get in there, like monkey around myself. I don't want to, an all-in-one prefab kit or whatever. And I can see that, but I wonder if that would attract new people that were kind of afraid to get in because they didn't want to do all that other stuff themselves. I don't really know the answer. I'm just kind of wondering.
It definitely would, Ron. And you know what? DJI should consider maybe having some kind of partnership with a reputable builder already established in the community like Armatan, who, again, they are putting together bind and fly units that you could buy the complete DJI system from DJI and just bind it to that and you are ready to fly. And they may be very open to doing it. Like I said, DJI is obviously fine with CADX, a completely third-party camera and video transmitter vendor, making stuff for their hardware. In fact, they just updated those goggles. I forgot to mention this. They updated those goggles, and apparently they added an update for CADX Nebula. And no one's really sure what CADX Nebula is. It's supposedly it's a camera, but again, that just shows DJI's willingness to play with the community here. So I think you're right. There's a good chance that they might be willing to have some kind of partnership where you put in an order and you're going to get your Armatan bind and fly with the DJI stuff sent to you, while at the same time you're ordering the complete DJI system. Hey, will they make their own from the ground up and put it up for sale? That I don't know. I don't know if they want to get into it. I think they might just want to let the community do it.
Right.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Marcus?
Yeah, John, so let me throw this at you. And this ties in with the question I asked you last night about, hey, if anybody's going to be an FPV, do they need to learn how to solder? So let's say somebody came out with a drone like your DJI said, okay, here's a single box FPV drone. It would almost have to be modular or something so that if you broke something, it's just a modular replacing a part. Because if somebody is concerned enough that they want a one box solution, they're not going to want to get out their soldering gun either.
That's right. That's right. And I've actually seen attempts at making a modular design, and unfortunately, a lot of the vendors who have tried to do that, it just sort of ended up in flames. Years ago, Team Black Sheep came out with the TBS Vendetta, and that was a totally modular FPV drone, but it had so many issues. There were so many problems, and there are challenges when you modularize things. Like, for example, we soldered the electronic speed controllers to the board directly. And one major reason you want to use solder rather than connectors is because every connector you add adds significant amounts of electrical resistance. I mean, that makes sense, right? So being modular is great, but it comes at a really big cost. If DJI could figure something out for that, where you're not going to lose a whole lot of voltage and make it all put together like a puzzle, that's definitely something that could be explored by them for sure, because people aren't going to want to solder.
It would take a company like DJI with deep pockets to be able to develop something like that. So, some of the probably, let's call them more mom and pop manufacturers just wouldn't have the R&D to be able to do that. But hey, it's fun to think about and imagine how that would happen.
Hey, John, Steve Hughes got another a good comment on the screen here. Let you read it over.
Too old for FPV. It's 3 minutes flying and 14 days trying to repair it. Hey, you know what?
But the second part, FPV is like trying to control a Karma in free fall compared to the camera droning. Maybe he said that in honor of Brian Singleton, who's not with us here tonight, the only owner of the Karma I know.
Maybe some people out there like soldering. I'm not someone who really likes to solder. I mean, you do it because you have to do it. But I tell you what, if there was a way to just put on a new electronic speed controller, if you burned one out in the field, like let's say they came up with an awesome connector or even magnetic. It'll never happen magnetically, but you get what I'm saying, right? Let's say they came up with something magical that you could just snap in a new component and go fly. That would be great. Then you would have less field repair and you could get back in the air faster. I mean, I think there's a lot of room for research and development in the FPV sector. The problem is, as you guys probably guess, FPV is so much smaller than the aerial photography and GPS bird realm. It really is. It's so much smaller. I am glad that more and more people are seeing, hey, these FPV birds, they're cinema capable too. You can make video with this stuff that you can't with anything else. And we've got DRL now and all this other stuff. So I'm hoping that there's more looking into it. And the fact that DJI made the goggles is amazing. People thought we were never going to see digital FPV. Even Bardwell said, probably not going to happen. Digital FPV, not going to happen. And then like a year or two later, DJI comes out with the system.
Never say never, John.
Yeah. Yeah, he took a lot of crap for that video.
Hey, speaking of soldering, John, I'm going to go off the rails here, but I'll keep it short. I'm not much of a solder either. Not since whatever high school shop or whatever. But a couple years ago, you remember this, John? I was like the first person in the U.S., at least it was on YouTube, that got the Bang Tools X16 GPS model. I mean, I had it 6 months before anybody else had it. I don't even know how I got lucky, but I got the thing right, and I could tell right away something was wrong with it. And one of the motors in one of the thing wasn't soldered in properly. So like I took it apart. I actually soldered, repaired it, and whatever. I was so happy with myself. I got it working fine. And again, I didn't want to send it back or anything because I could never got another GPS one for like another 6 months or whatever. But then the next time I had to solder a drone, it was a small drone. I could never get it right or whatever. And I finally sent the Birdman or whatever for him to try to fix it or whatever. But I did get one drone soldered back that everybody remembers the Bang Tools X16 or whatever GPS model.
Oh yeah, I had it, man. And I actually, dude, mine fell out of the sky. It lost a prop nut and it just went flying and crashing to the ground. And it still lived. The damn thing still lived. I ended up giving it away to somebody, and apparently I talked to them recently, and it's still flying. It still works. They still fly it every now and then. Yeah, that thing is still capable.
Yeah, that was, like a champion of the toy drone era or whatever. But we digress to the toy drones. I got a little bit of news that kind of not drones, but kind of drone related. Did you? Marcus always tells us don't buy any GoPro stock. Well, today GoPro laid off a large, like 500 people, whatever, because their sales have, suffered greatly, because of the coronavirus. So what they're doing now is they're going to like depend less on retailers and go back to trying to get most of their sales from their website or whatever. But they will still partner with a couple third-party vendors. I mean, they didn't say Best Buy, but probably like Best Buy, but they're not going to be in stores so much anymore. They're going to be sold on their website, which means they kind of control the narrative a little bit more. But Marcus always did warn us to stay away from GoPro stock, and it's not looking too good today, Marcus.
GoPro is a great company, and they make some really, really cool products. And I really want them around as a competitor. Yeah. They're an American company, and they're a competitor for FEMI and DJI and all these other companies. It would be really cool to see them get acquired by somebody like, say, Apple, right?
Deep pockets.
I don't know about that one. Well, that's because I don't like Apple. But.
That's true, John. Now that I think about it, because they would just get folded in with a big, but somebody that has deeper pockets, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, that could allow them to do the R&D and do the really whiz bang stuff that they used to do. Their advantage is they were the first, but it was too easy for other companies to copy. And it's still really good stuff. Anyway. We want them around, but don't buy the stock.
You know what? You know, I mean, what hurts a company like GoPro is the fact that they, you know, I got my Hero 7 right here. They make such good products that, like, you know, now that people don't have money now, things are tight. Nobody really needs to upgrade their GoPro. I mean, like, if you have a GoPro that's 2, 3, 4 years old, it's still a good camera. I mean, yeah, it's always nice to upgrade, but it's not a must-have upgrade or whatever. Their products are so good that people keep them until, I don't know, maybe they get a chipped lens or something like that or whatever. Not a lot of people upgrade just for feature or whatever because it's such a good product, and that kind of hurts them getting that, you know, year after year sale or whatever. So, you know,
the other facet to that is what you personally did. You bought one of those FEMI Palms, right, for half what you paid for that GoPro. And obviously it's not a sports camera, but you don't use that GoPro as a sports camera either. So for you, that FEMI Palm, the video, I'm not going to say it's every bit as good because I don't really know, but it's pretty damn good. And it's half the frickin' price. And that's part of the problem. Ron, you used to swear by the Xiaomi, what do they call it, Mi camera or whatever?
I bought, John probably knows, a lot of people in the toy drone community had the first Xiaomi U camera. It was a little camera, and everybody had it because it was like, I'm going to say it was sort of like a clone of the GoPro 3 or whatever. And it was like you know, when it came out, I don't know, it was under $200, and in its heyday, it was selling for like $100 or whatever. And it had like 2.7K, and you know, and for the money, it was a real solid camera. But and they had, and actually they upgraded. They had one later on that had like 4K 60 and whatever. But what happened is when the Hero 7 got released and GoPro added that hyper smooth stabilization to it, that kind of killed the whole clone market because they couldn't offer that stabilization. So now if you would go buy, I don't think Xiaomi's even making cameras anymore. Maybe they're selling their old ones, but all those knockoff cameras, I mean, they're still around, but nobody's really buying them anymore because they don't have stabilization. That hyper smooth stabilization, you don't need a gimbal when you have this, because this is, quite frankly, if it's not as good as the gimbal, it's so close I can't see it. Marcus, would you agree?
Yeah, and the 8 is even better. So yeah. Although I have to tell you that FEMI Palm is, the stabilization on that thing is freaking impressive, and a lot of it has to do with the wide angle lens, but nonetheless, it is.
Yeah, you guys, Marcus and I talked about off air. You know, this has a much wider field of view than the Osmo Pocket, which is the kind of a copy of. And what that does is it makes it more stable because you have a super wide angle lens. When you're walking along and you are bouncing a little bit, it kind of hides it more than the Pocket, which is kind of zoomed in, like maybe 80 field of view. It's something, a narrow field of view. You can see more bouncing in a narrow field of view than you can in the wide. So this may not be better than Pocket stabilization, but because of the wider field of view, you kind of notice it less.
Hey, Ron, and that brings up something that Bill the Drone Reviewer, the news that Bill the Drone Reviewer broke with regard to the FEMI X8, the 2020 version, that it has that FEMI Palm camera in it.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. That's
Somebody emailed me about that. So I was just someone in the chat had told me that Aldrin Estachio put out a video that you can work the smart controller with the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, and I just want to get this out here for everybody, okay? And I just put a comment in there. Yes, you can link it with that, but you're extremely limited with what you can do. And my recommendation is to not even attempt to fly it. I know this from the fact that, what's his name? Frank from Carolina Drones. He and I had a phone call about this when we talked about this last year. And he said he tried it, and he said it was very limited with what you can do. So I recommend do not fly that, okay? 100%. And I put that comment in Aldrin's video, and I think, you know, if he should probably, you know, update that and say, you know, don't attempt this, because he never flew it in his video. Okay. I just kind of searched through there. He just did it. He kind of like had it on a table and he showed it linked and everything. You know, don't even think about doing this. I just want to get the word out there, because I thought I did when I did my series of videos, because what I did was I actually went out and tweeted DJI support, and they came back and they told me, they said they have no plans to update the software for the smart controller to have it work with the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, which I know. And I talked to David from Kluge Tech Time, and he agreed. He's like dumbfounded like I am. I mean, it was like a slam dunk, because when they re-released the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, they could have sold, you know, smart controllers with it, and it would have been a natural. But no, so
Hey, I got a question for you, Bill.
yes.
So with regard to the Mavic Air 2, and we know that it's going to be called the Mavic Air 2 now, and there's that new form factor on that controller. I just have high hopes that they'll offer an option with the smart controller. Have you heard anything, or what is your feeling on that?
Hey,
Okay.
before Bill gives his answer, can I throw in something real fast? We talked about the smart controller for the Mavic Air 2. For the first time ever, DJI will let you mount the phone on top of the controller rather than bottom. I know Brian Singleton, who just joined the chat here. He's in here his TDR drones right now. He is a big fan. He always gets that adapter for the DJI drone so he can put his phone on the top. So that phone on top is going to make a lot of people very happy. And I don't want to go on about that, but I thought that was something that a lot of people will talk about and should be aware of. Bill, go ahead and take care of that.
You know, a couple of things here. I did hear Lauren kind of was hinting around, and now this is just from Lauren chatting with us, and this was this wasn't really anything official, but a new smart controller. All right. And you know, he had kind of, I think you guys, Ron and Marcus, may have overheard him talk about that. So there's the inkling it could come out like a smart controller. Now you look at the new controller for the Mavic Air 2, and he said that. He said, look at it, and he said, what's it in the shape of? It's in this exact shape of the smart controller. Mm-hmm. So that really kind of lends it to believe that, yes, it will work with the smart controller, but I'm not sure when. I'm not sure out of the box.
Right. Hey, Bill, I just thought of something else that just occurred to me as you were saying that. We're talking about what app it's running. If it's running the Fly app, then it's going to be different than the smart controller that runs the Go 4 app, right? So
yeah, so they probably need another
switch or something, you know.
Well, and see, the whole thinking and the whole logic behind the smart controller when they came out with it was, you know, they touted it as working with any DJI drone that has OcuSync 2.0. And then at that time, you know, at the release of the Mavic Air 2, or at the Mavic 2 release, it was only the Mavic 2 series, the Zoom and the Pro. And then the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 came out a little later that fall, and it had OcuSync 2.0. So everybody started talking about it. But then, you know, well, when the smart controller came out, but nothing was really said until that summer. I had applied for and got accepted into the beta testing program. And, you know, I tested that for like 3 months. And there's videos out there of me flying it with a smart controller. And let me tell you, it's something else flying that with the Phantom 4 with a smart controller. I can tell you that right now. But all of a sudden, you know, it's like September, and I'm like wondering, okay, why haven't we? Because what they'll do is when they're done beta testing, they will send you an email, and what you have to do is you have to offload that the software and revert back to the original version when they're done. So that's a hint that it's actually going to be released. They never did that. So my software on my smart controller is still the beta version that actually it runs, and it'll bind and it'll work with the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. But a real interesting point, and this is something I don't think a lot of people know, is when, let's say I go ahead and I have that, you know, bound to my Phantom 4 Pro V2.0, when I power on my Mavic 2 Pro, okay, I have to rebind the Mavic 2 Pro to it. It's still there, it still shows up, but I have to bind it again, okay, because it can only be bound literally to one aircraft at a time, okay? So when you go ahead and you're switching aircraft, you have to go ahead and bind it again, which, you know, for me, I think that kind of loses a little bit of the appeal of it. But, you know, again, you know, the only really right now, technically the only versions that can really work with the smart controller, the Mavic 2 series and then the Mavic Enterprise series.
Correct. Hey, before we move to a different topic, Bruce has a question. Maybe, Bill, you want to take the question up on the screen?
Okay. Phantom 4 owner. I'm not sure if I want to pick the Mavic 2 Pro Zoom or the new Mavic 2 Air. Bruce, that's a great question. You know, for me, you know, right now the way things are, I would look to the Mavic Air 2. I mean, it's going to have an incredible camera on it. It's going to have an incredible runtime on it. More than likely have ADS-B on it. I mean, it's something that I would just say 2 thumbs up on. I mean, really, because and then you'd be saving, you know, hundreds of dollars over something like that. So at this point, you know, I would definitely recommend the Mavic Air 2.
I would say unless you know, Bruce is I don't know, you know, a professional photographer, or you know, he does real estate, unless he's making money with the photography from the 1-inch sensor for his photos, I probably would advise the way Bill's advising.
And let me just say also, I don't think any real estate agent ever said, damn, this photo wasn't taken with a 1-inch sensor. We can't use this.
Exactly.
I don't know what sensors they take pictures of the houses with, but they're pretty bad. So
exactly. John makes a great point. Though you know that some people, though, when you do stuff for photography jobs, not necessarily drone, like they're impressed if you have like the most expensive camera, you know, even though you don't actually use it on the job, just as long as they know you have that top level camera.
I do know that, yeah, people have talked about how they show up with their Inspire and they're like, oh, wow, that's amazing.
This guy's a real drone photographer.
That's when he gets out his Mavic Mini and does the job.
They think the Mini gets the job done. Yeah, yeah. So, all right. Well, Marcus, do you have any help for Bruce on his buying decision?
Well, so to be perfectly fair, we haven't seen the Mavic Air 2 yet. We know a lot of the things about it, but I agree with Bill and John and Ron. It looks really promising. So I would probably, before you pull the trigger on anything, let's take a look on April 27th and see what that bad boy really is. But yeah, unless you have a specific need for that 1-inch sensor in the Mavic 2 Pro, and it's a phenomenal camera. Both Bill and Ron have proven that to me many times. Yeah, this Air is going to do, this Mavic 2 Air is probably going to do anything and more than the average drone pilot is going to need.
Yeah, Bruce should hold up till the 27th, and about 9:35, he can go over to Aldrin's YouTube channel and maybe watch about 10 to 15 videos up at that point.
Yeah, more than likely.
But Bill joked about Aldrin should change his video. Well, right now Aldrin is he's probably too busy filming Mavic Air 2 videos to be worried about his old videos up.
You know, and one of the things I want to say is I'm going to email Aldrin because I think he either needs to put a disclaimer in his video or he needs to take it down. Seriously. Doing well, Grumpy Vlogger. We're doing well. We're getting ordering groceries
tonight. I hope you're still here.
Yeah, seriously though, you know, that's kind of misleading information. And I know, well, one of my friends from the UK, Ian Jones, he's been you know, pinging me all the time. Has there been any updates? Well, Aldrin puts this video out, but he never flies it. Okay, he just shows that he can hook up to it. And folks, you know, I'm going to go on record and say this, and if Aldrin wants to talk to me, that's fine. But you know, he needs to come out with a disclaimer that you really can't do this, because the only people that really were able to fly it were the ones that had the beta app, which I did. Okay, and you had to apply for that program through DJI and be selected by them. So I'm going to email him about it. I threw a comment in there, but I'm going to email him about it. I mean, you know, this is kind of, you know, you got to give correct information when you're going out there, and that's not correct information. He needs to put a disclaimer in there or take the video down.
Hey, so we should probably clarify, Bill, you were talking about the smart controller and the Mavic, or excuse me, the Phantom 4 V2.0, and I think Ron was referring to that we know that Aldrin, the day that.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're going to say. Yeah. So we'll have a glut of Mavic Air 2 videos out there.
he's making a ton of Mavic Air videos. Hey, I want to shout out the Third Eye View. He points out that a company called Snoopa is also releasing a device that looks just like the Osmo Pocket or whatever, and it'll be interesting when they get theirs out in the market. Also, I haven't seen any places you can order it yet, but I know I always see it in my Facebook feed. They're always advertising to me.
I think that what's her name? Young 360 or something.
360.
Yeah, I think I just happened to see a video. I didn't watch the video, but I saw the title to it today that she was had that. So.
She also has done a lot of videos on the Phoebe Palm. She has the Pocket. Hello, John. We're doing well tonight. Thank you.
I think Brian's got a good question. I think that answer, Brian, is no.
Which one is he? Which question?
He's being a joker.
Speaking of Bugs 3, has anyone here seen the Bug 7? Maybe Brian's seen the Bug 7.
I did see the Bug 7, John. I saw our friend Dave, Perth West, already comment, well, it doesn't have a real gimbal in it, so it probably doesn't have study video.
It's embarrassing. For $180, it doesn't have any stabilized gimbal. It's just embarrassing. Just embarrassing.
I mean,
I don't know how they think they're going to compete when you got people like Xiaomi coming out with the Fimi for what, $347, the SE. I mean, what, and not to mention there's the Eachine EX4 too, which I know isn't perfect, but compared to that, I don't know what MJX is thinking anymore.
What is the strong point of the Bug 7? Is that bad?
Crickets. Yeah, there isn't one.
There isn't one.
Yeah,
there isn't one. It's just too expensive. I have no idea who it's for. You know what my theory? I was gonna say, go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it's just another drone without a stabilized camera. That's all.
You know what my theory is, Ron, with MJX? I think that they have given up on trying to cater to anybody who really knows anything about drones. And I think that they're more focused on maybe trying to get other companies to rebrand their stuff and then put it in Walmart. Like that Mew 4 that Brian picked up that was rebranded by Vivitar that was put in Walmart. When I saw that thing in my local Walmart, I was like, oh my God, one of MJX's drones is here in Walmart, rebranded by Vivitar. And it's a ridiculous price. But against the DJI drones there, someone who has no idea will buy that right up. I really think that that's what they're looking for. You got to figure a drone like the Bug 7, no stabilization, no gimbal, no nothing, all old motors, old hardware. For $180 on Banggood, they got to be making a killing on that thing. Just an absolute
John,
killing.
So I've got a theory on that. At Walmart, those drones. Grandma walks in there to buy a birthday present for her grandson, and her grandson gives her a few specs. Says, "Oh, I want GPS. I want this and that." She doesn't know any better. She says, "Hey, here it is, $180. Boom." And Walmart, they'll sell a ton.
She asked the clerk, "Is this a good drone?" And the clerk said, "Yeah, it's a good drone." And the clerk has said that has never flown a drone.
Never flown a drone. Yeah.
Now, I got a question for John. How can a company like MGX, which had, I don't know, the drone industry by its tail, 3 years ago, when it came out with that Bugs 3, I mean, it had the whole drone community buzzing. You remember that, John? I remember, I don't know, early in January, turn on DJ Soulforce's channel, almost at 11 o'clock at night, and he's flying his thing outside of his house in the dark, and you could hear the excitement in his voice. I ordered off his coupon then. I mean, that drone was viral. Everybody was ordered. Everybody had it. Everybody was doing mods. And then, then they came out with the Bugs 2, and it was, it was kind of a good 2. It was kind of like the Hubsa 501, maybe in some ways better, in some ways not as good or whatever. And then the Mini, they came out with that little Bugs Mini. Everybody loved that thing. And then they just sort of lost all the momentum, they lost their way so quickly. How did that happen, John?
I think it really comes down to management. All it might take is MJX firing a few of the wrong people who knew what they were talking about or knew what they were doing, and now this is where we are. I mean, I think that it's probably as simple as that. They probably had somebody on staff that knew the market better or had a different vision in mind, and that's how we ended up with the Bugs 3. And you're right, everybody loved that drone. Almost everybody. I remember when Billy Kyle flew it. Billy Kyle got into flying the Bugs 3.
Thomas said it to him, and he live on the show that one night. I mean, now basically MGX has become the new SEMA. Remember, before MGX, remember SEMA? They had the industry, the tool industry market almost quartered. I mean, they had the X5, and then what was the big one called? The X8, and they were selling drones all over the place. They were putting a new one out every couple months, and then all of a sudden they kind of like they just never moved on. It's like they got stuck in time. They never put really GPS, and they never put decent cameras, and they got stuck in like 2016 and never moved on.
You're absolutely right. They did end up making a GPS version of the Bugs 3.
Way after the fact, after everybody had leapfrogged them.
Way after everyone had leapfrogged them, and they made it, and then they didn't do what people wanted. They took 2 steps forward, 3 steps backwards with that one, because it had a GPS, but they put a proprietary battery on it that absolutely no one wanted. And it wasn't even a smart battery. It was just a battery in a proprietary casing that offered absolutely no benefit other than locking you into their charger. And you could see, I'm guessing that's when the company started to get greedy. They knew they had their name tied up in people's heads as being good. And they just figured, well, let's crap this out and try to make some money. And I don't think it worked out for them. The Bugs 3 Pro did not sell very well, as far as I know. It was not a big winner. There were too many little issues with it, and what's sad is they didn't have to be. That's I think I said when I did the review. I said there are just so many little things wrong with this that didn't have to be. So yeah, I think it just comes down to bad management, and all it takes is firing a few of the wrong guys.
Remember when Donnie got that SEMA X8 GPS or whatever, and it almost it almost did damage. It was so bad or whatever. Like he had to warn everybody. Like there was, it would go up and it would do these almost like these, what do you call it when it spins around? I did a video and I can't remember what it's called, but it did these mini circles or whatever, and it was crazy. And then somebody else had and almost hit their van, and it was a complete disaster.
SEMA is another company that lost their way. There's a lot of companies that are in China that they don't. They're not like DJI per se. Some of them are fly by night. They tried to get into this thing while it was hot. I think MJX got really lucky. I think, like I said, I think MJX just got really, really lucky. They hired a few guys that really knew what they were doing. They knew that if they could put a brushless drone out there for $100, people were going to eat it up back in 2017 because there was no other option like it. And then they lost their way. They lose their way. It can happen. It can happen to any company. Honestly, it can happen to any company.
And just beyond the brushless motors, it had a great flight controller too. That thing flew precision. You know what I mean? Like almost a drone handle like that thing did.
Absolutely.
Hey, I got DeMarco FSU Grad 03 highlighted on the screen there. DeMarco will be joining us on 427 for the big Mavic Air debut show. Ooh. So he will definitely have his finger on the buy button that night on the air. So it'll be up to him whether he's going to hit that buy button or not. He may have already hit the button on the Evo 2 on the 20th, but if he hasn't, well, maybe he may double hit the button, right, Marcus?
Well, you never know. He's been known to be his trigger finger is itchy, so it can happen.
DeMarco, your Xeno is still doing real good, which is actually Kelly's Xeno. Still doing real good for me. I flew it recently. Still going good.
FSU grad said the Bugs 5W is still pretty good. Did you ever have the 5W, John?
No, I never ended up with the Bugs 5W. I don't think it was bad, but I remember there were some things that I didn't like about that one. Like it had 20 FPS, I think, for the video. Like,
oh yeah,
what are they like? I see that stuff. I think, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Who wants 20 FPS?
These strange frame rates. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
I want to throw something in here. we're going to have a pre-show on Monday the 27th on my channel at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and be a Mavic Air 2 pre-show, and then at 9 o'clock we'll all head over to Xeno Nation. And when I'm heading over to Xeno Nation, I'm gonna have my two panels up. I'm gonna have my Best Buy panel up. I'm gonna have my DJI panel up, and may the force win is something like that. I don't know it's gonna happen, but you know what? It's gonna be fun. And I don't mean to talk about the coronavirus or anything, but all of us are inside, and it's kind of it gets old after a while. But I tell you what, doing these videos and having these live streams really kind of breaks the monotony up, and it's great. Even though I'm really kind of not supposed to go out and fly right now, so I haven't been flying. But when that day comes, it's going to be fantastic. And, this gives us something to talk about, get our mind off of things, and it's going to be fun. Now, look what Marcus is holding up. Okay.
Speaking of bugs, there's a bugs on set.
He's got the bugs.
Hey, this is thanks to our friend Ryan Duvall sent me this thing, and John Coopy was very involved in this as well. Yeah, it's a cool drone, and all this talk tonight reminds me that I need to get this sucker out and fly it again.
You'll like it. The Bug 6 is fun. That was a fun unit by them back when it came out. You'll have a lot of fun with that one.
Was an MGS success. That was a big success.
Yeah,
the Bug 6. Yeah, there were a lot of people that bought the Bug 6. It was a little sportier than the Bugs 3. Yep. That's a good fun drone. I had some good times with that drone.
Now, Mark, does the one you have the FPV camera in it that you can use your goggles with?
No, it does not have any form of transmission. I can tell you the thing that really threw me the first time I picked it up is that left stick. It just went up and down, and it didn't center.
Oh.
So that was a little bit of a shocker. But I actually would say that I was able to hover it a little bit and fly it around. I'm not going to say I actually flew it. Maybe more like it flew me. But it was really fun, and all this talk got me all excited, and I had to dig it out. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Bill. You were on a roll on a different subject there.
No. That's fine. No, we were having. It's really. I was thinking today. And I took a vacation day. I've been working from home, and I said, you know what? I'm just taking a vacation day. It was good to sleep in. And it would, I kind of took it easy. I had a couple of videos to work on today, and just kind of like, just kind of like, and was able to exhale and just kind of like enjoy the day today. And, for us, we're fortunate that Instacart, where we live, will deliver groceries. So we really technically, I haven't started my truck in 2 weeks. Okay. And same with my wife's car. And I think this weekend, we're at least going to back them out of the driveway. I need to put air in her tires, and we have a compressor that we got and everything. So, just, kind of do that kind of stuff. But, we're trying to do things wise, and we're fortunate that we don't have to go out and shop and everything. And I was sharing earlier with Ron, and I know this is a little digressing and everything, but there's a great YouTube channel. It's called MedCram, CRAM. And the guy is a pulmonologist. He's he's been working in the ER with dealing with COVID-19. And one of the things he talked about tonight was UV9 light, ultraviolet 9 light. Now, what he did was, like, the UV light that we get, like from the sun, that penetrates the skin, and that can cause things like skin cancer. So this can't penetrate the skin, but what it can do is it can penetrate cells and bad cells. And he demonstrated a test, and he showed a paper on a test that they did with an aerosolized version of like the swine flu, and it showed it destroyed it completely. I mean, just bar none. And what he's saying is that the FDA is currently looking at it and waiting on approving it. But if they do, what he said, this will have a great application in like outdoor venues, in restaurants, in stores, to have these in there, because, it's invisible. It doesn't harm your skin or your eyes, but yet it can zap that. like nobody's business. So I mean, this was really exciting, you know, and I'm real excited to see this kind of stuff. And you know what, Big Pharma, Big Pharma's not going to talk about something like this because they want you to take the medications. But something like this that literally can kill the virus, that's, you know, that's very promising technology. I really liked hearing that today. So
funny you mentioned this, Bill. For the past couple of weeks, every day on my annual or daily Banggood and GearBest emails, they have a ton of those lights for sale now.
Yeah, well, there is actually.
By the time I get them shipped to the U.S., the coronavirus will be over. But you know,
who's the guy up in Canada that does all the tech reviews? And I watch him all the time. He's got millions of subscribers.
Air Photography?
Yes. No, not Air Photography. Unbox Therapy. Okay.
Unbox Therapy.
Oh, that's him.
Okay. He had maybe about a week or so ago, he did one. He says, you know what? I got this in. Let's take a look. Let's see if this works. It was built for smartphones, and it was a way to kill the germs on your smartphone. You put it in there, and it has a lid. You close the lid, and you turn it on. It has an ultraviolet light, and it does. It works. It kills all the germs on there.
Phone soap, right? It's called phone soap. I think
exactly, John. That was it.
That UV light technology is well known. So coming from the dairy industry, we've used that for years to sterilize cartons as they're getting ready to be filled. They flash a UV light in them to kill the bugs. So that's a very common technology.
Yeah, we have it it's actually in our air conditioner to kill the mold and bacteria in there. And there's a big note on there to any service technician that says UV light installed. Please be aware, because you have to have special goggles on to look at it. Otherwise it could blind you. I mean, that's how powerful this is. But what they're talking about, like for stores and everything, that it wouldn't be that, need that kind of spectrum to kill the germs, which I think is just off the wall awesome to hear some good news like that.
Hey, Ron, would you consider installing one of those on your Mavic Mini, and you could fly it around your house and you could sterilize your whole house?
I could, or I could take it down that boardwalk and sterilize that boardwalk and get it open back up again.
Yeah.
Before you know it. Well, gentlemen, I see the comments have slowed down, so I think we're losing people. I was on the East Coast here. It's almost 12:30. What time is it local for you, John?
Oh man, it's 11:24 by me. So
Marcus, what are you saying?
To our midnight.
I'm an hour younger than it. It's 10:25 here.
So we will wrap up this special edition impromptu live show. I just again, we're all stuck inside mostly or whatever, and I saw that Alltel news, and again, I really want to talk about the Mavic Air 2, the rumors that use the Fly app, because that really, I didn't expect that. And, that kind of sets me back a little bit, like I said, because it doesn't have many features in it. And it's okay for a drone like the Mini, but this Mavic Air 2 is going to be a much more sophisticated drone. And I don't think it's, it'll be, it's going to go over well if it's with a very simplified app. But again, everything I'm saying is speculation. We will know on the 27th. Hopefully we'll know all these details that night. I mean, one party question to everybody in the panel. Okay, when the 27th happens and they have their little video or whatever, I have two-part question. Are you expecting any more than just a little video? And the second part of the question is, do you think once that video rolls that you will be able to hit the buy button that night? And do you think that will ship immediately, or do you think the rumors are true that it really won't ship until May 11th?
Are we going clockwise?
We'll go clockwise. Marcus, you go first.
Well, I would say that it will be available to purchase immediately. And I think if you want one, you should be prepared. The sooner you hit the button, the more chance you're going to have the drone sooner. So we're going to have to be able to read those specs real fast and decide if it's something we want. But the second part of that question, Ron, I think it's pretty clear that they made it pretty clear that it's not going to ship until mid-May. So, but as long as we know that, I don't see that as a big deal. At least they're upfront about it. That's different than they were with the Mavic Mini. We all purchased that thinking it was going to ship when they had no intention of shipping it until later, and it wasn't until after the fact that we learned what the release day was. Bill.
Yeah. Well, for me, if you guys remember, a few minutes before, and I think it was, and memory serves me right, it was like 9 a.m. that day for the Mini. Okay. I think a few minutes, like at about 8:55, their website was live and you could order. Okay. So, that's one of the things, have your websites up and, refresh that browser, because you may be able to order it before the official, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Yes. And I agree with Marcus 100%. Buy it immediately. If you don't even, make your decision, which model you want to get. If you want to get the Flymore combo. And then I also advise, and this is just for me personally, I'm going to pay for it with PayPal, because you have protection with that. That's just for me. And believe it or not, you can pay through PayPal through Best Buy if you're concerned about that. And with Marcus, yeah, it's not going to be available until probably mid-May. But you know what? At this point, for me, it's like fine, because I'm going to have a glut of drones literally to review. Okay, because I still haven't taken the Xeno 2 up for its first flight yet, because it came right when we got locked down. And then the FIMI X8 SE 2020 is coming, and then the Mavic Air 2 will be coming. So I'll have like 3 drones ready to go. So, but yeah, I'm done. John?
I'm just going to say, I actually agree with all you guys. If you want this thing, buy it. Be ready to freaking buy it. I don't think DJI is going to mess around. Especially, they might not mess around, especially considering what happened with the Mavic Mini. I don't think they would want a repeat of that. So just be ready to hit that buy button, hit the trigger.
Thank you, John. And Mike, I got a question up from Mike right here. Mike right down in Texas is, which one will arrive first, the Air 2 or the FIMI 2020? I'm putting my money on the Air 2. Marcus?
That's a crapshoot. I probably the Air 2, but yeah, who knows?
Bill?
I'm laughing because I think it's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to say I think it's a wash. And I think the reason I'm going to say that is because I think they could both come at the same time. And the reason that I say that is, everybody remember that we ordered from Banggood, the U.S. warehouse. Okay. So the drone, it's my thinking, and I talked about it last week on Rotor Talk Live with Ron and Marcus. It's my thinking that the FIMI X8 SE 2020 is already sitting in warehouses here in the United States. And Banggood's just waiting for the whatever is going to trigger them to ship it. That's just that's my 2 cents worth.
I'm going to go against the grain, and I'm going to say, well, no, I guess I'm not going against the grain. I'm going to say Air 2's definitely come first. And personally, I don't think those FIMIs are sitting over here waiting. I think Banggood has an order they're waiting to put in for them to be made. That's just my opinion. I'm hoping that's not the case. But if it is the way I think it is, people are going to be waiting a little while longer to get their FIMI 2020.
That's been our experience in the past.
Yes, that's with a lot of different products. But there is also there is also the possibility, though, that because this is just a second gen of an already made product back from 2018, that maybe they do have a whole bunch of them already ready to go. And they could already be over here, but I can't hold my breath on that one.
I'm hoping for what Bill said. I'm really.
Oh, I am too. I'm hoping again, because my waiting for the Xeno 2 was interesting. That's I'm just going to put it that way.
Hey guys, we got breaking news here. Mike Wright says same day delivery for both.
I hope he's right.
Buying drones like that from China is interesting compared to the DJI experience. It's
oh yeah, you're right, John. 100%.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game, as you guys have seen with the Xeno and everything that's gone on with that.
Yeah, I mean, you know our story, John. Marcus, you ordered your Xeno 2 on January 15th.
December 12th.
December 12th, and you received it on March.
Oh gosh, what was it? It was March. Geez, Ron, I don't remember, but you and I got it. Well, no, I got mine the day before you got yours, or something like that.
I got 3 days later, but boy, it took 3 months for it to get here, and I had two So the next item I ordered was the Phoebe Palm camera on January 1st, and again it was like almost April. Like I had 2 items in a row, 3-month delivery time, John.
And the original Phoebe, the 2018 version, I ordered it in December and I got it in May. So there you go.
That's the record.
Yeah.
I think as long as people understand that they may be waiting quite some time for the FEMI deal, on paper it's a great deal for $347. Yeah. I don't know about the whole $299 thing. I don't know how many people are going to end up going to get drawn for that, but at $347, if someone is willing to wait, I think it's a great deal. But yeah, and I guess the other concern that I have is with some of these companies, not necessarily DJI, but I know from some of the contacts that I have for, review products in China that the factories have not been all up and running the way they were before. Things are not normal, totally normal over there. Not to get political or anything, but like what they might have you believe is not necessarily true, I think.
I agree 100%, John.
I'm not going to name any manufacturers who I've been told don't have their factories fully up and going, but just look around and see how many items are back ordered or not, just straight up not available. Just look around and see. I've got friends of mine who are waiting on stuff that they can't even get for review because of either backed up shipping issues or the stuff just hasn't been made yet, or there's just no stock of it. So yeah, that's a big question for the FEMI. Hopefully, maybe they, like I said, they already dealt with any production issues, but it's a good question. It's a good question.
So John, I completely 100% agree with everything you just said. And that makes this DJI announcement even more of a conundrum, right? We thought that they were going to push that drone off till the fall, and now all of a sudden here it is in April. So that's kind of a head scratcher.
Because
it is.
DJI has the pipeline or whatever and can still make products. Look at Apple. People say, well, during this, the whole shutdown, lockdown, don't release stuff. But during this lockdown, Apple just yesterday released a new iPhone, like an SE, like kind of a simpler iPhone. But they released 2 iPads. They've released, a laptop, whatever. They're going right on launching their products even through these tough economic times because these products are already in the pipeline. They were ready to go. They still put them out there. I think DJI's taking the same attitude as Apple. If they have products ready to go or whatever, I know it's tough times or whatever, but still put them out there. And of course, people could call it insensitive joke, but the stimulus checks are coming around now, and these products are here. And again, I'm not trying to make a joke or belittle that or whatever. I mean, I'm not
aware of that.
Telling people to spend their stimulus checks on drones, or
right?
Hey, people are though. People definitely are.
Here. Number one, I think these drones have been sitting over here in the States because DJI learned its lesson, especially with the original Mavic Pro. So that's why they built distribution centers. I know there's one. Mine comes from Atlanta. I know there's one in New Jersey, up around where Rick Smith lives. I know there's one in Chicago, and I know there's one out in California. So they really can cover all the points of the country with those distribution centers. And the product's here. It's sitting on pallets. It's ready to go. Okay, whenever DJI just flips that switch. The other thing is, and I won't. This is not political, but I don't know if you saw today, but China said, oh, we undercounted the number of dead people in Wuhan. You have to add 50% onto it. And then we watch China Today, and it's real. It's very, it's not based on, the political leanings in China, but it's a free YouTube channel, and they're talking about more cases that they haven't really talked about. So I think that's why, they're kind of like trying to stem the tide over there right now. I think that's what they're doing. I wanted to get that out so people knew that, things aren't really back to normal in China, and it won't be for a while. So
I don't think this whole world's going to be back to normal for quite a long time.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't say that to be downer or or anything like that, or it'd be negative Nancy here. But I don't think we're going to be back to normal for quite a while, unfortunately.
Hey, so Ron, to your point, when you were comparing it with Apple, I think you kind of nailed it there, because DJI is a big enough company. They have worked with that supply chain in China longer than, or as long as any other drone manufacturer, and they're the big dog. So I'll bet you when they speak, those suppliers jump, and they are very likely able to do things that other companies just can't do.
Yeah, I agree. And to that point, Marcus, that's actually what some of the buzz in the FPV groups when it comes to questioning, well, is there going to be a new goggle out there? Because before the Mavic Air 2, before it became apparent that this is coming out, this is going to be a thing, people thought, like you guys did, that we might not see anything until the fall or maybe at all in this current climate. And now here it is. So now we're thinking, hey, maybe there could be a V2 of those goggles in the works. And I saw some people make that exact point, that DJI is not like some of the smaller companies. They have money and they have resources and power in their own right to sort of go through and just keep going through this and get their stuff out there. So yeah, it's a good question. That's why if you guys know any HD FPV goggle rumors, I want to hear those. There's a lot of people out there that would love to hear those.
And the good thing about that, because the Mavic Air 2's coming out, if DJI did indeed have this update in the goggles in the pipeline, I think it'll go forward. I don't think it'll be stopped by the coronavirus. If it was going to come out in April or May or June or whatever, I think it's still going to come out.
I think there's but if pre-Mavic Air 2 release, I would have said, yeah, I don't think we're going to get a new goggle. But now that we have this upcoming, yeah, I would agree with you, Ron. There's a good chance we're going to see a new goggle in the pipeline.
The pipeline is still coming. And you know what? All of you guys, I think the most satisfying thing is it's been a long time since DJI released a drone in the spring going into the summer for us folks. Usually we get these drones in the winter or in the fall as winter's almost here. I mean, even the Mavic Air 1 came out. Like, I remember I was in the Caribbean in the middle of the winter when Casey Neistat was first flying it on the day it came out. But the Spark came out. I mean, I know that the announcement was in May, but the Spark shipped about the middle of June. And I think that's the last time they put a brand new product out, like going into summer. I know the Mavic 2 Pro came out the end of August. For a lot of us in the States, summer was on the way out the door. It had 1 foot, and the second foot was almost out the door before that drone release. So we're finally going to get a drone where we can fly it for months and months before our weather turns bad. And I know Bill can fly year round, but a lot of us here, we have, I don't think John has a bad winter. I don't have a bad winter. Marcus, you don't have a bad winter either, but still we have winter. High winds.
I was just gonna say it's great. We finally get a new DJI camera bird for all those vacations we're gonna be able to take this summer.
Yeah.
You mean the vacation in your backyard?
Yeah. I can't wait to have a vacation.
At least you have a nice backyard now, John.
Yeah, but I mean, like, isn't that funny, right? Like, I know so many people have pretty much canceled their vacations. They're not going anywhere. It's just too uncertain, right? But yeah. You guys are right. I don't know when they started releasing them in the fall after the summer in North America is gone. But it's been a long time.
Look at the poor little Mini. The Mini's announced like the end of October, ships in the middle of November, and most of us that live in the north, even central to north of the U.S., it arrives just in time for the cold weather.
It did arrive just in time for Christmas, so there was that. I mean, there is that angle.
It's buying season, but still, getting the Mini like that time of year is like a kid getting your bike on Christmas Day and it snows or something.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've really. I said we were going to end the show a half hour ago, and we didn't. So, I want to thank everybody for dropping in at the last moment, just kind of a Friday night hangout here. I mean, just a lot of great people in here. A lot of the people regulars on the show. I saw some new names I haven't saw before in there. So thanks to the new people for dropping by, and a lot of great comments and questions. And I always say I learn as much from reading chat as you people do from 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 me or whatever. Or well, I'll say me. I won't say the paddle. I'll just say me. And I want to thank all my drop-ins. Marcus dropped in first. Bill dropped in. John came to join us to kind of get us up on what's going on with the FPV, and we had some good questions for him. Again, playing off his great show last Wednesday night. So if anybody is thinking about getting FPV, watch the replay of last week's Coast to Coast drone show and check it out. I'm sure if you have any questions, you could drop them in the comments, and John will check them out and get back to you. And I'm sure, John, do you have anything coming up on your channel on FPV or anything new?
I've got a few things. I want to try to review those goggles when we not the DJI goggles. I've got some. I was talking about those on the show, the ones that are $80 and they fit over your glasses. Yeah, I'm going to try to get those reviewed. Hopefully, I can get a Mobula 6, a little Whoop.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty soon. Yeah, it finally shipped. I've been waiting for it since mid-February. It's been out of stock. That's that stuff I was talking about. Stuff's been out of stock for forever. So yeah, I got a couple of things coming up, hopefully. Good.
Bill, you dropped a new video today, right?
Yeah, I did, and it's on OcuSync, which was confirmed by the release from the information from Brazil. So that's like fantastic news, and that just makes it even more exciting about this. So. And I got another new one dropping tomorrow too, but it's on the FIMI X8 SE 2020. So
okay, well, good. We need updates on that. Marcus said you dropped you just dropped a video yesterday on. I watched so many videos. I watched so many of your videos. What was the most recent one you were showing? What were you showing?
Well, I've been focused on the FIMI X8 SE lately. So my last 3 videos have been.
But what was the most recent one? It was a short one for your videos. Okay.
Yeah, and that was to make people aware of that $347 deal.
$299 contest, right?
299, 1,000 people are going to get drawn, and they'll have that drone for $299. And for the caliber that drone is, that's a phenomenal deal, and that's why I know Bill was doing the same thing, and Ron, you have too. I thought it was really important to disseminate that as widely as we can, because people are limited in their pocketbook, and that's a hell of a drone for that money. So I thought that was important. The next thing coming up on my channel is I've been flying the Skydio too. So I've got a couple of videos, one flying it with just my iPhone, and it's the only drone that I've ever been comfortable just flying it with just a phone. It works really good. And then I've got another video with the controller where I try and fly that drone into things, and it doesn't work. And the last word is, I just want to tell everybody to stay safe and be kind.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Marcus. And I've got a video coming out tomorrow where I show how to take panoramic photos with the Hupsa Xeno 2. The Xeno 1 had a panoramic mode where you could take video or spin all around, but this actually has panoramic photos. It has 4 different types, very similar to what the DJI drones have had, for years. And I'm kind of, I'm kind of excited how good the results were on it. So watch for that coming tomorrow. So I'm going to echo what Marcus says. Everybody be safe out there. Stay virus free, and we will see you on the next. We will see you Monday night at our normal time at 9 o'clock. We don't really have any agenda so far for this week. Probably more Xeno and FIMI information, and I'm getting choked up here at the end of the show here. So good night, everyone. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.